we will not achieve immortality. We cannot achieve immortality. The best we can get to is amortality. And I thought that was a really interesting distinction and a really interesting point. And what he meant by that is, even if, okay, let's go down the rabbit hole. Let's imagine you could download your consciousness into the cloud. You could be put in a robot. If you listened to my weekly update last week, I talked briefly about, the possibilities of transhumanism and where that could go. Even hypothetically, if you could go down that path, he talked about the fact that it's only going to get you so far. There's always going to be this reality that exists that at any moment this could be taken from you. So again, playing that hypothetical out, you've downloaded your consciousness, you've uploaded it into Optimus Gen 37, and you've got titanium frames and all this other stuff. Yet you're still vulnerable. You're still vulnerable to something. Something could destroy what you are. And I think we could chase all these different ways to try and mitigate that. But at the end of the day, and I thought it was fascinating the way he played this out. He said, if anything, this pursuit of amortality and the ability to tap into amortality through this, he attested to the fact, he's like, I think this is actually going to increase levels of anxiety in people. And I thought that was a really interesting perspective. And I agree completely with him on this, because when you think about it, there's so much more to lose. While we don't like to talk about death and our own mortality, we do all in the back of our mind. We know we're not going to live forever. We know we're not going to beat death. We know our days are numbered. And we also know that, if we get hit by a bus, like that's it. Like there's certain things we just know, whether we talk about it or consciously deal with it, versus, and as he unpacks some of this stuff, he started talking about, like, what if you could be a machine? And okay, so hypothetically, you managed to stay alive for 1,000 years. And so you've made it that far. How anxious are you going to be about that one EMP hit that takes you out and wipes you off the face? Because now you don't know what it's going to be. You don't know what's around the corner, and you don't know what those limits are, and what is that going to do to the anxiety. And I just thought that was a really, really interesting thought experiment to think about, this promise of, and he was very clear about it, we will not attain immortality. The best we will ever get is amortality. And when you frame it that way, suddenly you have to start evaluating and asking the question, at what cost? And how much is it really worth in the end to pursue this? Now, my personal view on this, I'll just tell you right now, I love my kids. I love my family. I love the work that I do. I have zero desire to live forever in the world the way it is now. Now, obviously, my worldview leads me to believe firmly that it won't be this way forever. But when I think about it, if you could offer me immortality or amortality today and go, hey, just imagine you could live for 1,000 years or 2,000, I'd be like, no way. No way would I want to take that pill at this point, given the brokenness, the frailty, and all these other things. So it was just a really interesting thing.